Hello and welcome back to my channel, Cards by Melissa Minor. I have a fun project that I want to make with you today. Have you seen those trendy watercolor projects? Well, that's what I want to make today. So I have the Ranger Distress watercolor cardstock, and then I also have this mixed media paper pad from scrapbook.com, and I want to try using both of those. And then I also have this beautiful stamp set, the Sunshine Blooms from scrapbook.com, and you can see it has the outline stamp for each and then the inside. And then I also have the coordinating dies that go with this set. So you can see here, these are all the dies that go with it. So I want to use those today. So I went ahead and took out some of the stamps that I want to use, and I have those mounted in my Rose Quartz Misty here. And then I am using this VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and this is good for watercoloring, and you can see on the back of the ink, it does say it's perfect for using watercolors. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up, and I have one of the sheets of paper cut down to an A2 size, and I'm going to go ahead and ink this up using my Stampendable tool here, and this just helps get a good impression. And it does get a good impression if you ink the image up, but it looks like I failed to ink up all of that leaf. So let me go ahead and just re-ink this image up and give it a good press here. And then I will go ahead and ink the other sheet off camera. And so that way we will have both sheets to work with today so that we can compare them. So I went ahead and took out the dies here, and I want to match up the dies to the corresponding images. And this does take some little fiddling to do. You just got to turn these around until you can line them up. And so I'll just take a few moments here. I have sped this up, but I'll just take a few moments here to line these dies up. And then I'm going to use some of this 1-inch mint tape from scrapbook.com to secure the dies, and then I will run these through my die cut machine. Now, I did go ahead and stamp both of the sheets of cardstock, and so I will go ahead and do most of my die cutting off camera, but I wanted to show you here that. All right, so I have the all of the pieces die cut, and you can see on the left side I have my watercolor paper, and then on the right side I have my mixed media paper pad. So I'm going to go ahead and put the inside stamp, excuse me, on the block, and I'm using the Distress Oxide ink in the color Peacock Feathers, and I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. And I am using this glass board. It's a white paint palette in this 9x12 size, and this is perfect for all of your mixed media projects because it just wipes right up. So I can get ink on it, I can get water on it, but I am going to go ahead and use this water bottle off to the side just so that I don't have to wipe it up every time. So I went ahead and gave this, I inked up the stamped image, I gave it 2 sprays of water, and then I'm stamping it off here on a sheet of scrap paper. And then I'm going to go ahead and use I'm going to go ahead and stamp it here first on the Distress watercolor paper. And I was showing you here that Distress watercolor paper does have more of a rough edge on the back. And so that's how I can kind of tell these papers apart. So I am spinning the stamp around just to line it up here. So I'm going to give it a good press. And it's not supposed to be perfect, right? With watercolor, it's kind of that messy watercolor look. And so it doesn't fill in all of the images. Now, if you were to use just a regular pigment ink, then it would fill in all of the images. But this is supposed to be that trendy watercolor look. And so that's the look that I'm going for. And so I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same process here. I'm going to ink this stamp up. And I don't know why I'm stamping it here, pushing the stamp into the image. I do like to pick up the ink pad there and push it into the stamp. And so again, off camera, I'm spritzing the water bottle 2 times. And then I'm going to stamp it 1 time off onto my scrap paper just to get a little bit of that water off. And then I'm going to hold it over my image and I'm going to spin it around. Now at the angle I'm at, it is just a little more difficult to line this up. If I could stand right over top of it, it would be just a little bit easier. So I'm going to take just a few moments here to get this lined up. So I'm going to spin this around a couple times just so that I can line this up, because it does line up. I love these clear stamps because that's what's great about these, is I can spin it around and get it lined up perfectly. So I'm going to give it a good press, and then we'll take a look and see. And I love it. I don't really think I can tell a difference. So here I am just wiping up my surface, and I can't really tell a difference. So the left is the watercolor paper. You can see the little roughed up side. And then the right is the Scrapbook.com heavyweight mixed media paper pad. So that looks good. I'm going to wipe off my stamp here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the center of the images on a block, a smaller block. And then I'm going to stamp that into some Distress Oxide ink in another color. So let me bring in the carved pumpkin. I like the teal and the orange together. So that's the color combo that I want to go with today. So let me go ahead and ink that up and give it a couple little spritzes of water. And let me stamp it off. And then let me press this down into the center. And yeah, okay. And let me ink this one up. And you'll see I forgot to spray it with water, and then I stamped it right on there, and it looks pretty, but I'm going for the watercolor look. So I'm trying to figure out what to do here. I'm going to bring in my watercolor brush. This is the Pink and Main Easy Flow watercolor brush, and I just wanted to fill in that image a little bit more on the left, and then I'm going to dab that off a little bit. And since I didn't put water on the one on the right-hand side, I'm going to bring a little water to that image. And so there we go. Let me clean that up, and I like it. So I've got both of those, and you could also drag out the water, drag out the color with the water brush if you wanted to fill it in more, but I'm pleased with how these look. So off camera, I did more of these, so let me bring these in so you can take a look. So I did more of these flowers. I did the smaller one, and here's some of the medium ones, and the other, like the rose, and then this is some of the leaves. And the leaves I did in the rustic wilderness, and those don't have an outline die. And then this other little one here I did in the peeled paint color. And then here's just some more of my flowers. So we have lots of bits to play with to make our card today. So let me get this cleaned up and bring in some other items. So this is the sentiment die that I want to use today, and this is called Hey There Friend. So I went ahead and die cut this. I used some vellum and then some black cardstock. I have all my pieces here. They are in the Scrapbook.com stack and sort tray, and then I'm bringing in this new embossing folder that I got from Stampin' Up! From my friend Kelly over at Snips by Kelly. And this is the Cane Weave embossing folder, and I think this is so pretty. Look at this. So I just used some white cardstock, and so I want to use this on my card base. And this is 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to mat this here on this black cardstock, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm bringing in this Artiste craft glue, and it has a nice precision fine tip, which makes it really nice for making cards. And so I'm going to put some glue down, and I know it's hard to see the fine tip with the white glue on this white cardstock, but just here in just a moment you'll be able to see how fine the tip really is when I put the glue on the black cardstock. So I got this piece, and let me just give this a good press here. I'm going to give this a press, and then let me go ahead and bring back in the glue, and we'll put some glue on the black cardstock. And see how that glue is just that really fine layer of glue. I love that. So any of the products that I'm using today, I will have linked down below in the description box. And I really appreciate anytime you shop my links, as that does help support me and my YouTube channel. All right, so now that I have the card base figured out and glued together, I want to start layering up my pieces to really figure out the design of this card. So I'm going to bring in that You're Fabulous. First, let me put that needle, that tip back in the glue. I don't want that to dry out. So I'm also going to be using these double-sided foam adhesive shapes. This just adds a little dimension, and this is in the large 1 millimeter. That's the thinnest that scrapbook.com has. So I'm going to add the You're Fabulous to the top, and I'm just going to start playing with how I want these flowers to go on here. So I'm just going to dry fit these. I know I want a large flower, and then I want a medium, and I want some of these leaves down here. And then I know I want a small flower. Oh, that's another medium. Let me put that back. Let me get a small one and maybe another leaf. So I will play around with this off camera. I won't make you watch me fuss with this, and I will use some of these foam adhesive shapes and some glue, and I will get this glued down, and I will bring back in my card. All right, I think that's how I want it. So here is a look at my final card. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up. If you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe and come back. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.